Hello. Of course, I'd go live and people are like walking by our window right now. I have been putting off this live. I've been putting off this video now for almost a month, and I think it's time to talk about it. Long-term complications of weight loss surgery, and I'm dealing with them. So just giving it a minute for people to come on. So I had weight loss surgery about 11 years ago. And even with these complications, I would still do it all over again tomorrow because I've been able to successfully keep off over 100 pounds and I'm happy with my life. But I started this channel back 11 years ago and then I let it go for a while. And then recently in the last couple months, I've been posting again. And I'm realizing now that the reason I think I was like triggered or wanting to start posting again was because I was starting to deal with complications. And I didn't post a lot about the complications because I kind of didn't recognize all the complications I was dealing with. But like subconsciously, I was starting to reach out to the weight loss community over a decade post-op. And I was like, why am I all of a sudden feeling driven? I've been fine. I've been successful. Like, why would I start wanting to post again? Because I remember that first year wanting to post all the time because I felt really desperate. I needed a community. I needed people. I needed help. I needed ideas. And then like I was fine for like 9 years. And then the last year, like because of COVID and just like stuff, things were happening. But I was ignoring one of the biggest issues. And so I had the vertical sleeve gastrectomy 11 years ago, and I've talked about this in other videos, so sorry I'm being a bit redundant, but I was one of the first people to get it when it was not considered experimental. So before me, they were doing experimental cases and just seeing how it would go. And then they were like, they made it mainstream and then it went huge. So now like everyone and their mom, like if I'm all over TikTok watching people get the vertical sleeve gastrectomy, and it's like a very common surgery. Now over a decade, we're seeing what these long-term complications are for the surgery. And one of the biggest things that they talked about back then was GERD, which is gastroesophageal reflux disease. And you have to do an upper GI, and they need to look for hiatal hernias. And if you suffer from reflux anyway, they're not going to do the surgery. And I remember thinking, okay, like I've had 2 kids, like I've had reflux, obviously. But I didn't know the difference between reflux and GERD. And reflux is annoying. It's heartburn, it's uncomfortable, it keeps you up at night. But GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease, is horrendous. I would wake up at 2 o'clock, and this is over the last like year, and it's become more and more, and this is 11 years post-op, but it's gotten worse. And in the middle of the night, I'd wake up and start throwing up. And like on nothing, like on water. And I'm like, why am I having reflux? Because of water. And I was slowly starting to stop eating. So we're in, what are we in, May right now? So around Easter, I saw myself, I'm looking back now, I'm realizing that I was stopping eating, if that's even a word. I was decreasing my intake. And now in other videos I've talked about, I've started Adderall. So the vertical sleeve gastrectomy essentially took away my physical hunger. Adderall took away my head hunger. And then I started throwing up all the time, having GERD constantly. And that felt like a punishment. So you mix those 3, no more physical hunger, no more head hunger. And now I'm being disciplined, or I'm being punished anytime I eat with vomiting or reflux so bad that it would trigger throwing up in the middle of the night. Like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'd wake up and just start throwing up acid. I stopped eating in the beginning of April. So I'm down to like 185, and I was like 209 in January. And I think people in the weight loss community would be like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Like you've lost a ton of weight. And there is like a very sick part of my brain I have an eating disorder. I have multiple eating disorders, binging, purging. I have like anorexia, things like I'm all messed up in my head, in regards to food. So there was part of me that's like, well, this is kind of awesome. Like I don't feel like eating and I'm not really hungry and, I'm being disciplined. So like food didn't even sound fun anymore. And so I just stopped eating, like literally went 4 days, no food, just liquids. And I started seeing my face like become very haggard. So, I have a life coach, a coach that I work with, almost like a borderline therapist. And she and I've been honest with her about what's going on. And I reached out to the Facebook community and just said, hey, if anybody's had this, I need some help. I don't know what's happening. And I don't know what the fix is. And I was terrified to find out that the fix, apparently I'm not the only person that's dealt with this, which is significant GERD. But apparently, because I've had GERD for like at least a solid 6 years and probably more of a decade, you can get what's called esophageal paresis, which means your esophagus stops really working. And if you've had GERD for too long, you can start getting something, I think it's like Barrett's esophagus. I'm not saying that right. But essentially, you can change the cellular structure in your esophagus and your stomach, and it can cause cancer. And I'm fast forwarding a little bit because that was the part that made me finally go, maybe I should contact my doctor. Now, most people are going to be like, duh, you should have contacted your doctor a long time ago. No, I'm a mom and a business owner and I have issues and I don't want to contact my doctor because they're going to make me stop doing stuff. And apparently the only revision for this is to have a Roux-en-Y, which is like a gastric bypass. And I don't want to have a gastric bypass. That's not what I wanted. I wanted a vertical sleeve gastrectomy. I didn't want any rerouting. So screw you. I don't want to have that done. I want to keep my vertical sleeve and just be happy and stay here. So I had come to a mental spot in my brain that was like, I just won't eat anymore then. I'll just live on a liquid diet. And I was legit there. There is still part of me that's still there because I am so angry. I'm so angry that I might have to have a secondary surgery. I'm a business owner. We're a photography studio. We're finally working after COVID. Things are finally going right. And now I have to stop to have surgery. I'll just have protein. I think I can live like that. And there is like a very disturbed part of my brain that is fine with that. Well, this weekend was Mother's Day weekend. I'm going to get angry. Sorry. This weekend was Mother's Day weekend and I tried to eat. It was the first weekend in a long time that I was like, that sounds good. And I was able to get down 2 eggs on Mother's Day morning. And then in the evening, we went to a friend's house and I was able to eat a little bit of food, about a 1/4 cup of food. And I kept it down and I had a reflux, but like I took my medicine and didn't throw up at all. So today I was feeling like, what's today? Tuesday? Yeah. So like yesterday I had some soft mozzarella cheese, went down really good. I was like feeling really good about myself. I had 2 scoops of protein throughout the day. So I had at least 30 grams of protein. People that are in the weight loss community, you know that my body is right now in starvation mode, right? Like, you know that I'm not even dropping weight at this point. My body is going to try to hold on to all the fat. So as much as I want to say, oh, I'll lose like maybe 20 more pounds and then I'll be good and I'll take care of it, because there's a sick part of my brain that wants to do that. Fun fact, I know y'all know what I'm talking about. So, but there's like also part of me that's like, I am 42, almost 43, and like I'm starting to look haggard and sick. And so I'm going to go ahead and try to appease my ego and say, Chris, you need to be healthy. You need to start to eat regular food, and you need to make sure you're taking all of your nutrients so that you don't die. But like that doesn't really seem to bother me anymore. So I'm just like, you need to be able to live and like serve your clients and serve your family. So yesterday I was like, all right, got some soft mozzarella, kept that down, did really good. I had acid reflux with everything, water, everything. But I took my medicine, felt really good. Today, Tuesday, I'm at the studio working all day. I'm starting to feel really bold. We're going to try to eat food. Maybe I don't need to have this upper GI. Maybe I don't need to have surgery. Maybe we're good to go and I'm good. I'm going to get yellow curry, which is like my favorite thing in the world to eat, with tofu. So it's not chicken, so it won't stay and it'll slip. And I think I can do good. And then I got some vegan ice cream, which is like yummy because I'm super lactose intolerant. Quarter cup of vegan ice cream and 2 pieces of tofu. Feeling fine, had some water, met with some clients on Zoom. Halfway through, had to get up, threw it all up. Threw it all up. Now, the ice cream should have slipped through my sleeve. We know that that's a food that should be able to get down. Like, if you're trying to lose weight and you have the sleeve, don't have ice cream. It goes through your sleeve. If you're having complications like your girl here, I figured that was a way to get some fat, some calories into my system. And then also, like, work on the psychological issue of like, I'm just not going to eat anymore because I have a control issue. And if my stomach's going to go against me and my body's going to go against me, then fine, I'm not going to eat. So I was feeling so confident and I got food, and today I threw up again. And I was so mad. And I just finished my last meeting of the day, and I've been working all day, and I'm sitting here going, I need to go home and I'll just go 3 days and not eat again. And I know that people like watching this might go, you're just not going to eat? Yeah, I can go a week. I can go 8 days and not eat any food. And that's not healthy. I'll have to have some protein and some water in there. But I am so mad and so angry that it's like, I'm going to have a Roux-en-Y. And I never wanted that. And as a swallowing specialist, because that's what I did for years as a speech pathologist and worked in the medical community, I worked with people, not necessarily like me, they didn't have weight loss surgery, but I worked with girls, and I say girls because they were teens and early 20s that had what's called gastroparesis, which means that your gastrointestinal system, like the food's not pushing its way through, right? And I'm looking like I have something like esophageal paresis because you put that kind of acid in your esophagus for years and years and years, the esophagus goes like, I'm done. I'm not going to move this food down. And the food is staying right in here, just sitting in here for like hours. And if you have esophageal and gastroparesis for a long time, you end up on a freaking feeding tube. And I know that, and I'm mad about it, and I'm frustrated. So I'm fighting right now with like two sides. I'm fighting with like my emotional, let's just talk about the emotional side, because I'm so angry. I do not want to ruin why, which is the fix. And even that, I'm like, how much is that the fix? Because if the esophagus is damaged enough, like the food's still going to sit there. I'm only 42. And so I'm like doing this avoidance. I don't know if you guys ever deal with this, but like I have this major avoidance thing in me that's like, I don't want to go see my doctor. Because I know my doctor, she's already ordered the upper GI. She's already ordered the antacids, which I know I need to take. But like, then they're going to say, oh, you have to have a Roux-en-Y. They're going to do a Roux-en-Y. They're going to take a biopsy of the esophagus. If I have any change of cellular, it could be the start of cancer. And that is really angering me. And I don't want to get help for it because I'd rather just not eat. Which if I was the clinician, which I've been, I would say, no, you need to go, let's go take it step by step. And so I'm fighting this, like I have parts of the day that I'm like, no, let's take it step by step. It's probably not that big of a deal. Then I have other parts of the day that I'm like, you know what, screw it. I have control over my body. I'm not getting any tests and I'll just drink liquids. So anyway, I'm mad. I'm hurt. I'm frustrated. I feel like I don't have control over my own body. And after over 11 years having weight loss surgery and being fairly successful, I feel like for the first time I've hit a wall. And because of that, I've avoided posting. I've avoided videos. I have like 5, 6, 7 videos that I need to post. And I haven't posted them because I just feel like a loser. And I feel like I'm not successful. And I want to encourage people who need weight loss surgery to get the surgery if that will help them. But as somebody who's one of the oldest people that have had the surgery, like I still would do it again tomorrow, but maybe it's not the best thing. Maybe it can cause all these other things. And I don't want to encourage people to do something that could give them long-term complications. So that's where I'm at. And yes, I'll get help. And yes, I have a doctor's appointment. And yes, I'll do all the things. But real talk, I'm mad. And that's just the truth. So If you have any ideas, you have any suggestions, let me know. I know I've committed with my coach to like try to get 80 grams of protein in a day with my protein drinks and taking all my vitamins, and I'm going to do all of it because ultimately I need to be here for my clients and my family and my husband and my kids and all the things. But I also want control, and I'm a control freak. And anybody with a eating disorder, I think, has a bit of a control issue. So I'm just being super honest, and I'm sad. So thanks. That's it. I'll make like a real video and post, maybe. But I started making the video and I was like, no, I'm just gonna go live because this is where I'm at. And I really appreciate the bariatric community for what it is. Sometimes I get a lot of hate, especially on TikTok. Sometimes I get a lot of love, and right now I can use both because right now I think I just feel like I'm throwing hate at myself. So there's really nothing that anybody can say to me that I don't say to myself 15,000 times a day. And if you're in the weight loss community and you're getting hate from other people, whether they're bariatric patients or not, because we're a hard community, and just know that I've been dealing with this for over a decade, and you have your highs and you have your lows. And I think just being transparent and being honest is the only way to keep making it day by day. So much love. Thanks. That's real talk.